I need to get, put it on.
Echo. Echo.
And do the same with video. No, video's fine.
Yeah, I can see myself.
Why is it? It's all fuzzy.
Look at the.
It's fuzzy.
I don't know.
I can leave it up.
Maybe it's because it's through the browser. Is it recording them?
Yeah.
You want to record a whole hour or nothing? Just remember to start recording. No.
It was set up to automatically record, so it'll just do it. All right. Text me if you need anything.
How many people do you have joining?
I'm not sure.
Is it open to public?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you want me to put this so it's out of the way? Can we use the green table? Okay. Can we ask Pedro to come to the box and see if he can? I don't know, yeah. But, yeah, they're gonna get it gone anyway. Say what? They gotta get gone anyway. was going. What did they do? There you go, we're in the right place. Oh, we were in the room with the food. Starting right. Oh, hallelujah. Praise for God. We're free. Oh, wow. This is huge. It is huge. Like, we don't have that big a county. It just keeps going and going. Like, is this all county in this building? This is massive. Which is just me here. 10 minutes from my house.
12 for me.
Oh, is
That's
that?
right, because yeah, you're just down the road from me.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi.
I don't want to be really good.
No, this is one of the owls. They're everywhere.
Oh, we love it. Just FYI.
It's great. Oh.
Alright, so I have for,
When you
name
sit down, be
tags, I
careful.
have labels, so you can label your stuff.
Ooh, fun.
Super special. What's up here? We have.
Alyssa, nice to meet you.
So that's the whole committee, right? for
Yeah,
the,
I think really good.
Historic
It'd be nice if
preservation.
we can do some crossover.
Well, isn't there like a cool group besides?
Start eating, start getting your food, don't wait on anyone.
Works. It's just a-
I don't know, I know.
There you go.
So where is the camera? Oh, the camera's here. Okay.
The owl.
The owl.
The owl.
Hi.
I'm just used to being in my living room all the time. Like in a giant public space.
I'm glad you figured out where this was because I couldn't figure out where it is and it's in my backyard.
Like, right.
Are you kidding me?
I just figured I'd write because I'm most put kind of a weird face in this,
You're a lovely face in this.
but a new one.
I'm currently challenged. Hey,
I can't get a sticker or whoever.
How's it going?
That's always the first to grab some.
Yeah.
So I gotta do it right.
You do it.
No, call you. Maybe we should.
There's napkins and tables and silverware over here.
We might need to like move the tables around a little bit. If I share my screen up here, people on the sides are gonna see in. But we'll figure it out.
I was just trying to get as far away from the camera as possible. That was my particular goal for the evening. Work mode. Not touch any spoons and yet. Touch all of the spoons. I'm sure with them, we're good.
Don't like all of them.
How did you then?
Okay.
Yeah? First person is always.
Benton County Talks Trash is kicking me down.
You're involved in that?
You guys.
I heard y'all had quite the meeting this week.
We've had quite the meetings for a while.
We don't usually have to do it at our meetings.
This is only my second meeting. So.
Hacking.
Oh, yeah, the hacking. Yes, we were bombed.
You know, like, I don't know how you fit it
It's
in
going
every
to-
day anyway, so.
I didn't know what the heck was going on. Like,
Catherine from economic development texted me and she's like, oh my gosh. This is happening right now.
Just thinking of the conflict and how.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
We don't need to see the screen, that's just for online people.
Are you gonna be sharing things on the screen?
I'm gonna try and keep a running tally of ideas.
Oh, okay.
So. That's a diamond shape or something? If people are having issues on the side.
Tell me to move all
Alright, I'm going to change the.
Right?
No, 2 days. I know, it's been one of those weeks where it's Wednesday every day.
And there's more.
I didn't know you were catering.
Wow.
I don't remember. I just don't remember.
I thought she was trying to buy us to get here.
It's always a possibility.
Well, good job, well done, well done. Hi, I'm Bruce.
Hi, I'm Chad. Nice to meet you.
You've been meaning to text Kara, did I hear you wrong? See?
Well, I did. It looks like those are taken.
Right, it's over there.
Inga said that she's gonna be keeping a tally of the ideas
Jack.
on the screen.
Nice
but
to
other than
meet
that,
you.
I don't know.
Let's go to
What
rec
it is.
board.
You know what?
So we know.
Nancy,
Yes,
grab that container and move it down there.
yes,
Thank you.
ma'am,
I like
whatever you say.
I like your style. There we go. Okay. Now we have these ice in the first.
Oh, yeah.
I know, people have certain ways. or-
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Well, that's a little hard.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Get us taco shell over here. Don't forget those and not.
Send me Chad.
How are you doing?
So how does this work for you? Like, do you guys get the offset time like this? With time spent in the office, or is this?
I think they're gonna give me comp time for this, so time and a half, or.
Gotcha. And besides landmark,
Oh, yeah.
are you attached to any other commissions or anything like development?
No, I mean theoretically, I could have a case go to like
Oh, the
any
legal
commission,
issues.
and then I'd also have to do something for that, because that's after ours as well. But yeah, the only recurring commission that I have.
So we had an agenda
Yeah.
already. I have, some things that I'd like to paper.
Well,
I've been trying to find information on guidance or something.
Okay.
So it looks to me like my suspicions were correct. That's a really old page.
I
that
kind
they
of
have
have a lot of
moved on.
backgrounds.
The new page is much more promotional.
Yeah.
And it looks like all the guidance I could find, of course, primary facade.
Professionally, and then.
The least preferred.
It's the least preferred, but it is for most people.
Yes.
Do I send it to you? Do I just bring it myself? Do I just keep quiet about it and stop trying to be right?
No, we can bring it, because, so we really only have business from the commission on the agenda. So first thing is elect our chair and vice chair. Then I have the solar discussion, and then we have Sean Pitt showing up
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So he's gonna be coming. I can't remember, I think we had one other thing in there.
So that's.
We're gonna talk about awards. presentation.
Yes, thank you. I made sure to get it on there and then it's out. So what we can do is, if you want to bring copies for everybody, we'll need
Okay.
one for the record and you can print it out. If you want me to print it out, just send it my way and I can get copies.
Gotcha.
So if we
I
can,
may just send it to you.
that's totally fine. But yeah, we'll get it into the record and everything, and
Gotcha.
we can discuss it and talk about using that as the guiding document.
Gotcha. I've never seen this.
There's so many things.
Yeah, it's been revised.
And found a different document when I was on like the national page
Mhm.
that I had seen, and I thought that was what we had, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I also, I emailed Chippo
Mhm.
and I forget who I asked for contact, but I emailed and she responded back with like a couple things. I think it was cool.
Okay, I think she does a lot of the substitute materials and that sort of technical guidance.
And she said, hey, the person that is the right point of contact for this, I'm looping them back into this reply and they'll be able to help you out.
Did
It's
they,
been almost a month, so.
did they give, I've had that happen before. I had archaeology
Well-
questions and I got the archaeologist and never heard back. And that was when I was in Marion County.
And I'm sure that they get hammered constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
I just have technical questions because like we had a couple like location restricted sites and I'm like, hey, we need to make sure people don't develop here. So I need to know if you guys have policies. or GIS data on that information. If they
was the last thing they did.
also know what those locations are. And just never got back to me. And I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna password lock that layer.
So speaking of archaeology,
There's a legit sign out there that says.
maybe this is something you know about or that you can.
I was like, I'm not, I'm not.
Interesting.
I'm not going over there.
I don't know anything if I'm
Those
not serving the commission.
It got built down by Rome.
thinking for a.
There was like a pause and something was
I
fine.
was like following.
And then
to Vegas for.
Where the official ones were not talking.
Go.
Oh my gosh.
I was just on a walk with my buddy Matt. I'm not disclosing and what would possibly. be
Well, that's
considered
about-
wrong.
No, so we can't really talk about archaeology sites like locations. The property owner can have, but there's no legal requirements for the city or anything. They're really
Right.
Non-monetary benefits.
From there, if there's a site, there's like legal. There's litigation.
I'm from Port Dallas.
So,
Oh, no,
I don't know what they chose. I've been looking at it, I thought I remembered something. So, yeah, they asked for prior to disclose anything.
I was on all of that.
Okay, it was, college hill.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's.
Yeah, yeah.
They just started.
Trying to think of high points.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How are you? Good.
I just have a running.
Everything's on that end of
Oh,
town.
that's very, yeah, I enjoyed it, I enjoyed the.
Great. Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
it was amazing.
I feel like
How fast it was
we-
years ago, and, well,
At least on my end of everything's pretty quiet. I hear about all these things going on. I have a neighbor who's like, he's got a Ring doorbell, so then he is connected. He gets notifications from the whole neighborhood. I think this time, well, this was going, that was going on.
Well, I think you might have been coming into that.
You
know, I've left my basement door wide open.
And I wanted to, and then I wasn't.
Woke up the next day going,
Was that right? I think I remember that. But anyway.
nobody's ever, I mean, actually, I can't find a set of jumper cables. They could have been leaving out of my truck or something like that. But
No, I think this was that.
super surprised. I do not feel nervous,
Yeah.
scared. I take my dog out to walk at 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
Just,
I go your way towards, and it's too far.
Yeah.
Listening
The
there.
other side, so I stay on the west side and I'm very comfortable.
You talked to the owner, I went into a home that I think.
I moved there
said it had been
I was
used.
just thinking about.
ostensibly just temporarily.
Well, no,
I
see, I haven't.
Jay.
moved there, I was gonna move back to
And haven't met his.
the house I lived in
But
on the other side of
I was
town.
raised in, and
And,
I haven't been able to talk to them.
Never left.
Yeah.
Or get any stories from them about it.
I've always liked this side of town.
It's not a.
Are you on 12 or 10?
Yeah.
Resource in.
Yeah, I really like 10th a lot
Yeah,
because
just
it seems quieter.
It's not for-
Yeah, I think
that the home is-
the folks on Ninth get a lot of
But I-
traffic, so it's kind of a secondary.
Mhm. From ninth.
Just as wide and none of the traffic.
Well,
Love how wide it is.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
good.
we
Some of
didn't
the streets are so narrow.
I was raised in it across.
well, but we,
Every corner from it, but-
I thought you talked to the owner.
I am.
You don't have Allen, but you've got the road by the kitchen.
No, that was and then I have a lot
Wasn't, it wasn't 306.
on the alley. I have another lot that has
Non-contributing, so I was.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, good for you.
So it's really narrow, but I don't know what the setbacks would be to build a
So right on the corner.
Yeah,
there,
or something
yeah,
nice.
across like North Singer.
Right on
Right on
that.
that.
You know, it's an alley.
It's been done. It's been done. And it, I mean, you have such a generous house.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Make that.
Yeah.
I don't know the setbacks off the top of my head, and I don't know if there's anything special about the community. But I really think that it's just, the road is its own thing. You have the setbacks off the connector.
It's frozen on everybody's screen.
Everybody's frozen now to me.
Yeah, me too.
Except
you-
for those that are online.
Yeah, only the Zoom people are talking. Don't know what happened.
To see if they become animated here again soon.
Yeah.
How do we get back to the meeting that they're about to begin?
Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe, or maybe we have to go out and come back in. I don't know. I don't know how to call Inga and say, hey, what's going on?
Don't you think they'll notice we're not here, not there?
Hi,
Maybe,
Jill.
Hello, hi, Raj.
maybe, maybe not.
One reheat level.
Okay.
Inga. I have her phone number. I doubt that she's going to answer.
probably madly scrambling, trying to figure out where we went.
Oh, good. Somebody says the Zoom is frozen in Kalapuya, the Zoom room. Okay, that's not gonna work.
I'm wondering though, if we're gonna have to get out and get reconnected, because even if they get it back, will it bring us back? I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
I think I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Mhm.
I think I'll try that too.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna try.
leave and try to come back.
It doesn't look like it worked right off the bat, does it?
Oh, I think it's just you and me.
Just us, we'll have a historic meeting and call it good, at
There she is. There's one.
it. Oh, I see Inga oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on. Woo. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right, gallery view, we're on.
Do you want me to
Just
keep track of this one and then you chat things that come up?
Sure.
Or can you do that from yours too?
No, this is, yeah, there's,
Okay.
actually, I can see chat in mine
Oh,
because
you
I'm
can.
co-host. Yeah, I should be able to. Okay. As you can see, we're being recorded, just so you know, for posterity's sake. Yeah.
Watch us all eat.
Because I'm sure we'll have lots of ideas flying around, so I want to keep track of them all. Bathrooms are just to the left of, not this first hall here, but the second hall to the left. If you need to go. And there's more water, there's a water fountain here also. Please eat, because otherwise us, we're working schleps, we'll be able to eat it tomorrow, but that's okay, we don't need it.
Thank you, it's delicious.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for dinner.
You're welcome. I'm happy to provide it. We're just so glad that everyone's come. It's nice to see everyone here and ready to go. I'm Inga. I am the Benton County liaison to the Historic Resources Commission. And why don't we start online with Donna, and I will just go do quick introductions around.
I'm Donna Keim, and I used to live literally across the street from Harding. All my children went there. I was a staff person there with College Hill. And Eric Wright, the principal, asked that I would be on this meeting to help plan a May historic 100-year celebration of the building. So he couldn't, and Gary Angelo is normally the person who comes to this meeting, and he knew I was on that committee and asked if I could come and sub for him.
Excuse me. So it's a 100-year celebration of the Harding School. Is that what you're? Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's sometime in May. We don't know exactly the date. And we figured that's close enough. We just wanted to make sure that we could invite the historic commission. I know Dan Brown normally does tours. We thought we could either tag on with him at the end of his historic tour for the month or have it a separate day. We didn't care. We just wanted to make sure that you all knew about it and would love to have you there as we plan this event.
Great. Wow.
Go ahead, Roz. Introduce
Me?
yourself.
Did you say Roz?
Yes.
I'm Roz Keeney. I'm a representative of Preservation Works. I was on HRC. Currently am not. But I'm on the Benton County Courthouse Committee. So I'm kind of hoping we'll have some sort of a courthouse thing. I'm sure Jill will agree to that. But I support the preservation month activities totally. So want to see good stuff happening.
Jesse?
Hey, everybody, I'm Jesse Ott. I'm the Deputy Director of the Natural Areas, Parks and Events of Benton County. And I'm also on the Historic Courthouse Committee there with Roz and a few folks here. And so, yeah, our department has a few historic structures that we would love to help out with the History Month. So just wanted to join and see what everyone was up to and see how we could support.
Jim?
I'm Jim Jansen. I'm the Vice Chair of the Albany Landmarks Commission.
Thank you. Maria?
You actually said that right, yes. Hello, my name is Brea Lewis. I am the current Ward 2 council member, just got elected to this current term. And I'm also part of the Hope Board, and I literally just had another one, but yeah, I have a lot going on right now, but yeah.
Let's see. Lynn
Larson, member of Preservation Works.
And you lead our, normally?
Oh, I do a walking tour. It's been the tree tour in the past. Might be a different one this year.
Yeah. Thank you. Jill?
Jill Van Buren, retired as the elections administrator in Benton County, but over the years I've been the official historian and tour guide for that building, and I'm on the preservation committee for that as well.
Thank you. We'll go around. Dan, you start off.
Well, my name is Dan Brown. I led a tour for the College Hill neighborhood last year. I hadn't done a tour for 15 or 20 years, but I used to do it a long time ago. And I'm looking forward to doing it again this year. I was on the city council here from Ward 4. Things are different now. 4 times. I was on the planning commission, and as city councilor, I was liaison to the HRC for many years.
A lot of public service, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Bruce Anderson. I'm finishing my first year with City of Corvallis on the Historic Resource Commission. Was raised in the College Hill District, attended Harding in the 70s, and I attended every tour last spring except for Lynn Larson's. I didn't get to see the Franklin and the trees, but was really impressed and have learned a lot in my first year.
So you get the award then.
Most was on yours.
I know.
It was hilarious. It was raining.
It was, wasn't it?
Brutal.
But great. Well, I'm Larry Landis, former Benton County HRC member. I've been involved with Historic Preservation Month for a long time now. And I've been doing historic tours of OSU during Historic Preservation Month and other times as requested or needed since, oh gosh, the late 1990s. So, looking forward to keeping involved with Historic Preservation Month. So,
Rebecca Landis, Preservation Works, and I run the farmers markets. And I believe we have, at times, we have put up some kind of a Fresno booth for folks, but that hasn't been consistently the case. But we're open to trying to do that.
I'm Nancy Taniguchi. I am the chair of the Benton County Historic Resource Commission, and I'm so glad to see so many people here with so many ideas.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Strems. I am the staff planner for Albany's Landmarks Commission. We are here because I think there's some connections with North Albany, so we're excited to kind of attend and see what we can work out.
I'm Chad Robinson, and I am also with the Albany Landmarks Commission.
And I'm Rain LaGrasse with the Albany Landmarks Commission as well.
I'm Tanya Freeman. I'm on the Benton County HRC.
Adrian Fritz, Benton County HRC, the Arts Center. The Whiteside turned 60 this year. I don't know why that's important to me, but I love it. And also with Conundrum House, I'm the co-conspirator behind the Spectre's Past series, 2 seasons so far.
I'm Autumn Peterson, a new Benton County HRC and owner of the Whiteside Farmstead on Belltown Road. So glad to be here, excited to meet everyone and excited for what we're planning.
I'm Michelle Storrs. I'm on the City of Corvallis HRC, and I'm just finishing my 6th month. So I'm pretty new at this.
I'm Sarah Johnson. I'm the senior planner at the City of Corvallis and the staff historic preservation manager for Corvallis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Bob Conifer. I'm a new member of the Albany HRC, first meeting, so.
All right, so let's get into what we're here for, which is figuring out what we're doing for Historic Preservation Month.
Sorry, I just joined, so I missed many of your introduction, but just wanted to say hi. I'm Maria Paula Rizzo. I'm a new member of the Historical Preservation Committee and faculty at OSU.
All right. So I have a list of things that people have already put down that they want to do. And I'm not sure if we should just go around and everyone throw out one idea.
Yeah, that's one way to get started.
Yeah, sure. That's not a bad idea. You can take 30 seconds to think about it.
What are the ideas on the table so far?
Yes, please.
So, okay. So from emails that have come in, so far we have Doug Eaton has suggested the Masonic tour. So we're going to need a guide for that. Hopefully someone from the city can do it. And the Avery Hound. Which I think that's one of our guides that we have created is the Avery Hound tour, right? Yeah, one of the downtowns. He's trying to get Carol Verlinden, who I am not familiar with, to do that. Jessica Hogan, with the Benton County Historical Museum wants to put together a party for Mary Gallagher for her retirement. And we'll do that, even though she's retiring in April, they'll move the party to May to do that. And Lynn, you suggested you wanted to do an architectural tour this time.
Yeah.
And then Jen is asking if we want to do something at the Whiteside. We need to get that scheduled pretty quick, but she's open to that. And let's see. Barbara Melton with camp, the folks at Adair Historical. They have a May 6th. I'm not really sure what it is, but some celebration they do at the Memorial Garden, and their tour of the barracks was really popular last year. There were lots of people there last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of people at Palestine Church, but they did not want to come over. I don't know why.
What is our theme this year? Did we choose
We
one?
haven't chosen a theme yet. Do you guys in Albany choose a theme every year?
We have been bad kids. We have dropped the ball for 2 years. So we need to get back on the horse.
Those are good kids. It's blank slate. Blank slate.
Right.
We're actually having our meeting to talk about preservation month at the beginning of February. So you guys are a little bit ahead of us.
Okay. Well, there's always so much to do. We usually start in December.
Yeah. Can I just say something? I'm really excited to see that Albany is here. So we have Benton County, Albany. We don't have Lynn County part, but it's really cool to have the region wanting to participate in the month together. And so I'm wondering if we want to have a speaker, sort of a big time speaker come in for both groups. Is there any interest in something like that?
I would say.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously we'd want to run it past the rest of our group, but we have some free CLG funds, so that's something we could work on.
Well, a long time ago, we had a national speaker on the bungalow. He'd written several books on bungalow, and I think it was held in Corvallis, but it was co-sponsored by City of Albany at the time, but it was super popular, of course, because bungalows are so cool. But it's just an idea to throw out there that brings us all together at a higher, maybe a little bit higher level of you know, more national kind of presentation. Something could be Main Street, it could be any number of things, but just throwing it out there. I don't have an idea, a specific idea or speaker.
I have a dumb question. Did we have an in-person awards last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Museum.
At the
That's
museum.
right. So to be important.
Was it, okay, I'm sorry, it's just, you know, things are just a blur for the next few years.
Yeah, that's true, but we did, and 2 of our Benton County commissioners came.
Oh, and I gave an award too, okay. Yeah, that's right. I gave President's Award, yes.
Yeah.
Inga, you didn't have my tour on there since I do it all the time.
Oh, well, I just figured, yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is like
It was
permanently
implied.
inscribed.
Okay.
on your phone.
Larry's gonna do the Mother's Day
You're locked
tour.
in, Larry.
Yeah, totally.
Better alive, so stay alive. 'Cause I don't want to do it.
No, I haven't, these were just stuff, things that were emailed after I sent out the
Oh, okay,
invitation.
okay, okay,
So,
okay.
And you just do it by, you know, mental telepathy, right?
Well, I
He
would say,
revises it, he really does.
yeah, I wouldn't say I do it in my sleep, but I do.
No, he actually, I've seen him actually revise it.
There are new things that happen to buildings and.
They get names, they get different names, things happen.
And they get renovated. So.
Yeah.
I learned a ton, you know, Larry loves architecture, and the architect that designed so many of Morgan State's buildings, the women's building, and we were just at it, in front of it, and the rhododendrons, you know, they're just so mature that you just can't really see the building, you know, and he threw that in there, just a little one, just a little, you know, at times there could be maybe too many rhododendrons. The tour kind of kept.
He likes plants, he likes plants.
It was like, it was cool.
The last thing.
yeah, she left.
She had to check on something that was happening.
Oh, we've had- I know maybe I'm jumping ahead, but we've had the award ceremony often in a building that has some significance for that time. Is Harding a possibility?
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Or the Whiteside Theater.
The whole 100
Or
years.
Whiteside,
Or
yeah.
Whiteside. That'd be a good use of that space.
Yeah, we had the ceremony at the Whiteside 8 years ago, maybe. Not saying we shouldn't do it again.
But, you know, the Whiteside has advanced in that time frame.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'll just happen.
Do we ever do a kickoff event? Besides Specters?
Well, it used to be that the first week was really focused on Finley Wildlife Refuge and cleanup down there as kind of a quasi kickoff, but I think with COVID that hasn't happened, at least in a public way. But it would include tours of the Feaster House at Finley and occasionally one of the barns and that kind of thing. But again, that hasn't happened in a few years. But that was kind of the kickoff, I guess.
And is that partly because Natural Areas Week falls there?
Yes, exactly. Uh-huh.
Oh.
And I don't know whether somebody up there may know about Natural Areas Week. Is that still a happening thing?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Hey,
Hi, hey, Jane.
Hello.
I definitely remember somebody, some meeting I was at this week mentioned natural areas week.
We still do a Natural Areas Week. I remember we just put in our application to try to get a banner over Harrison for it. So yeah, I heard somebody mention Natural Areas Week. So yeah, we still do that.
Maybe that could be incorporated once again.
That's a good idea. So the idea is that you take these people that don't think of themselves as interested in preservation per se. They're interested in Natural Areas Week, but then there's the opportunity at the end of each event to say, and some other things you may be interested in, and we have gotten crossover from that. And also we help each other, you know, if they're both happening, you can cross promote.
We can put tours of the wildlife, not the whole thing, but selected portions of it as part of that too on occasion. This has been extremely popular.
Mm-hmm. That would be really cool. So we were thinking this year for Spectres, we were going to do a Native American storyline, and that would be great to start the whole thing off with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because mostly it's land that's associated with the storytelling these days. So.
Well, there's no doubt there would have been a major indigenous presence there.
Yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if you know, but the Fort Hoskins Committee, of which I am a member, is redoing the interpretation there. And the fort was created to keep the white settlers away from the natives. And it was just a very unique kind of motivation for a fort, and there was never a barricade because there were no Indian attacks. It was like the other way.
Yeah.
So it's, we have a meeting next Tuesday, and we're working all this out, but certainly things will be, I hope, resolved before May. And so that's something we can incorporate.
Even so, the story could be told.
Oh, absolutely, it should be
Nonetheless.
told, and should be told. One of the members of the committee, and he is the cultural director of the Silex. Well, yeah,
He does
okay.
it all.
He does it all, of the Silex Reservation.
Is that something that I could go to on Tuesday?
I don't know. I certainly.
So it's not like
couldn't say.
an open meeting.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Jesse could tell you that. Jesse?
Yeah, just let me know, you know, if you'd be interested. What we have is our Parks Board chair appointed a lead for this committee to help us, work through that interpretation plan. So, yeah, just let me know, shoot me an email and I can get you connected with that group.
Yeah, Phil Hayes is the lead. We haven't actually ever met in person. It's all virtual. So, you know, the logistics isn't difficult, but I'm not in a position to say, yeah, you can come.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
I see we have someone new on the screen. Barbara, want to introduce yourself?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Yes, I'm Barbara Melton. I'm with Adair Living History. I'm the board president. We're a nonprofit organization working to preserve the history of the Adair area, beginning with Native populations on through white settlership and small towns in the area. And of course, the big guns is Camp Adair, which was a training camp during World War II in that area and built itself as Oregon's second biggest city. About 40,000 men and women lived and worked and trained in Camp Adair during its height. And then there was an Air Force station, and between those two was a naval hospital. And now we have a town, an actual municipality. And we're very excited that Benton County's, it feels like everything just stopped during COVID, and including some of our meetings. And so we're hoping to get back into the traces and get some work done.
Well, yeah, I mentioned already you had a May 6th celebration going on and how popular the barracks tour was last year. So
yeah, we have we intend to do what we call a Dare History Day on the 6th, and it will be in that area by the E.E. Wilson natural area off Campadare Road, where there are memorials to the 4 infantry units that trained at Campadare. And 4 of our board members will be doing presentations. People can come and park and stay as long as they want. We're scheduling it from 10 to 2. And the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife will be forgiving parking regulations during that day, so people can park for free. Well, our main project is the finishing up of a barracks building that was acquired by the city of Adair Village 10 years or so ago, and it looks the major construction will be starting here to get that building finished out. And our interest in the building is to create an interpretive for the history of the Adair area in that building. The mayor and I had a conversation early on when we thought that we were only going to get half the building to put our interpretive center in, and something else happened. And I said to him, Bill, we'd really like to have the whole building if you think that would be okay. And he said, do you think you can find enough stuff to go into a whole building? And I said, Bill, we really want both buildings, but we're trying not to be greedy. So the council said, yes, we could use the whole building. And, you know, eventually we're going to have to build a storage shed because there is so much information and so many materials regarding care. It's sort of an embarrassment of riches. Nice problem to have.
With the construction, will you be able to have a tour of the building this year?
Oh yeah, we'll probably participate in Adair Village's Founders Day in August. The date hasn't been set yet, and we'll open the building then, assuming that there won't be people in there working on the building that day. We've had events in there. We've had people come in so we can show them what our vision is for how it will look when it's all finished. Early on, we had hoped to make it very authentic in terms of the materials that we use, but when the city moved the building, they put it on an earthquake-safe foundation, replaced the roof and windows, and put on new siding. So that ship sailed. We can't, you know, it's not ever going to be a, you know, on the historic register. But we will do what we can to make it. We have some ideas for what to do in that building. Down at one end, we'd like to build a little permanent display that's a replica of what a barracks building looked like when the men were living in there and serving in there. And it looked cold and wet and damp and like not a lot of fun to me. So we'll do what we can to give that a little bit of that.
Sounds good.
So because we're not having a tour, is it okay for us to be part of Historic Preservation Month?
Certainly, yeah, definitely.
It's going to be a very short tour from one monument to the other and in a closed area.
Well, we just advertise your event along with all the other events.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And if you decide you need to exhibit your items somewhere else, we can find a place to do an exhibit somewhere else.
We have a policy of not accepting materials right now because we have no place to put it. Thank you for your offer of help. We don't really need it right this minute.
No, I mean, if we can find another location to put your exhibits in, to have an actual, like you did last year with the barracks, you had all those exhibits in there.
Right.
We can move it to a different location and we can try and look at that too.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. We do expect that the Albany Regional Museum will be providing us with all of their Campideer materials. They've offered, and every now and again they ask us how the building project's going.
I live in Albany and I've yet to be in that.
You bet. Yeah, it's very exciting to us to know that that material will be coming to us.
Okay, so I think I know a few people needed to leave early, didn't they?
No, we need to leave it, so.
So if you have something, you're going to do the OSU work. If you want to contribute before we start moving around the table and throwing ideas out.
Well, I was going to say if I can convince Rebecca of this, since we renovated the parlors in our 1890 farmhouse, it would be fun to be able to show them off. We haven't really done that yet. So.
Well, we're supposed to get the floors done in March, and this is really a plot to get me to clean up the dining room. But I probably have to do that if I want to stay married anyway. So we'll try.
We'll throw that out as a possibility. I mean, I don't want to commit to anything seriously, but we'll throw it out there. We've done tours of the house in the past, but it was
A long time ago.
A long time ago, before the parlors were renovated. We're pretty proud of them, so I like going. If you have any ideas other ideas that involve the Historical Society, I'm not officially representing the Historical Society, but I am on the Historical Society board, and I can relay information back to those folks. So if there's anything else pertaining to the Historical Society Benton County Historical Society in terms of events that might involve them, I can certainly be a conduit of that information.
For the farmer's market, if somebody had something small but interactive that they wanted to do there, that is, we would provide a 10 by 10 tent and a couple tables and some chairs and stuff. But I think one time we did some windows. I can't remember who all did that, but we showed different kinds of window frames and what you might do to them to prolong their life. But I can't remember who. Was it Scott and Plum? I'm not sure if it was Scott. Roz, do you remember this window booth at the market? You're muted.
You're muted.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Yeah, we had a great presentation that was at the market by, I can't remember his name right now. He isn't, I think he's gone, he isn't in Albany anymore. That's where his business was located, the vintage window business. But yeah, that was I thought it was very successful. It was at the farmer's market and lots of people stopped and it was great.
Chris. It was Chris.
Chris, yeah, Chris. But I think he's off on an assignment someplace else. But there are other people out there that do that, so maybe that could be still
native baskets or something along that line. I mean, I know several artisans who have studied with native basket makers, so.
Yeah. Would they be safe if it rains?
I think so. I mean, you soak reeds before you weave them, so like wet is not a problem.
They carried wet things in them.
Exactly.
We would also, we would provide a tent, but our tents are not leak proof.
Yeah. Well, and that's something too. So Conundrum House has, we have tents. So if we need to supplement, we can do that.
Yeah. We just have a limit of maybe 20 linear across the front, do different things. We used to have a lot more space for events before COVID. So that's the only limitation, but I see it as a good outreach place. We had the archaeology from under the Van Buren. They brought the Oregon museum brought objects this past fall. That's probably the last time we've done something like that.
William Grange has attempts too. And if you guys picked a day for a house tour, Willamette might do the same day.
Oh, that's our way. Okay, I like that.
This may be out of order, but I'd like to suggest a theme and you can all shoot it down or change it. But I'm wondering if we could say something like local history offers roots and wings.
Sounds cool.
What, say that again? Local history offers roots and wings?
That's right.
I get the roots part, I don't get the wings part.
The wings is a way of spreading the news, educating the future, inspiration for restoration, reuse, adaptation. There's lots of ways you can have wings.
I'm sort of a literalist, but you know, if it's got roots, it's got to have leaves instead on the
Around in the air. So if we're talking about evolution,
Earth and sky.
Earth and sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
or not, you know.
I really glommed on to roots.
Roots and leaves, roots and grounding in wings.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. But I wanted to get it out before.
Birds and trees, birds and trees.
Birds and trees, oh, birds and trees, yeah, that's early off, but anyway.
Well, but I mean, if you're trying to graphically represent.
Birds, roots,
Yes.
and trees, and wings, and we're good.
It's not Red Bull.
No, no.
Well, are you guys interested in having the same theme thrown here?
Sure.
with it?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Alyssa just mentioned that there is a group that came to our last meeting who is trying to do something with the hangar, the historic hangar at the Albany Airport. So I just told Alyssa we should steal that from her. Give it to them.
Somebody likes it.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think they have some members in Corvallis.
Yes.
But of course, their focus is the hangar over there. And I knew that it was old, but a lot of what they told us at the last meeting was very cool, very exciting.
they seem fairly interested in offering tours. We could see if they'd be interested in doing a public outreach for Preservation History Month. They're basically gearing up wanting to get funding for a museum at the hangar.
For 100 years.
For 100-year anniversary.
2029.
2029, yep. So they're starting to do the rounds. Just got them in touch with the Oregon Airplane Society. That's not the correct term. But so they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. The Albany hangar, I think, is outside the Portland metro area, the oldest airport building in Oregon. And there's a lot of really interesting connections with the early flight that they brought to us. It was just a fascinating meeting that we had. So,
Can I throw in a question? Last year, I think that you did something at the same time that Willamette Grange was doing it. It's quite a ways from Corvallis, but they are restoring that old building, and I think they're celebrating their 100th year. So I don't know, is that something that you can just send the information along so that people will know that that's a place they can visit at some time too?
We're sitting here in the meeting.
Yeah, Joe, I'm here. This is Jay Sexton. I'm here too.
Oh, hi, Jay. Well, I don't have to say. I don't have to say anything. He knows everything.
So Jill, the Grange is actually not too far from our house that might have a tour, and so we were just talking that they would be the same day.
Right. Yeah. Well, Jay's the president of Grange for the state of Oregon. Did you know that? And so he is the guy that you want to coordinate that with.
So since Jill spilled the beans, so the hall is 100 years old this year, but it's also our 150th year of Grange in Oregon. So chop that.
So we got to do something on
Can you say sesquicentennial? I need to get it.
I can say sesquicentennial.
Some of the owners of our house were members of that Grange, so there is an historical.
Oh, gonna be a fun tour.
Yeah, last year it worked really well. We had like all the tours on one day, and so people could just like do a circuit from one tour to the next, and we staggered the times. So we can do a couple of days. We get enough things like that. We have open houses or something. We can do a couple of days and then try and stagger the time and try and keep them in a geographic area.
Yeah, I did independent school.
Just do Albany, whatever tours you're gonna put on, and then maybe, is there stuff in like North Albany? Because Bob's in North Albany.
I'm hearing the story.
There is an old Grange building.
There's
I think
an
it's
old
privately
Grange
held.
building. I've got them on the list to maybe reach out and see if they're gonna do anything. There's a historic farmhouse. We don't have anything technically listed in North Albany, which is the hard part, but there's like historic things there.
I kind of think Fairmont is on the National Historic Registry. Fairmont Grange.
Yeah,
And they are still a Grange, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
can I
okay.
interrupt again? Sure. I don't mean to hog the conversation, but I'm the coordinator for Adopt a Park in the city of Albany, and we have a large old homestead orchard out there that we're digging out of the weeds, and we're thinking about making it into a center. Last summer, we had kids from OSU come over, and we discovered 6 apple trees. 4 of them were antique, and 2 of them they thought were extinct. So that's a big area that someone might be interested in seeing that develop. This year we pulled out grapevines, and there's still a whole lot to do out there. And there's also a nice walking path through that large area. So I don't know if that's something you want to put on the list, but you could certainly do that. It's just off of Thornton Lake, or Thornton. I guess it's North Albany Road, but it's right by the river or the lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
would
Jill,
get us. Jill, do you have somebody getting sign wood off those rare trees?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have someone who's gonna collect the sign wood from those rare trees and get it
Oh yes, yeah. We have an organization. We couldn't even identify them, and we have an organization. I think it's out of Portland who are saving those, and they're pretty excited. Not to mention this OSU. Kids who are going into forestry and that kind of thing, they're pretty excited to find these different orchard trees that they thought were lost to history. So pretty interesting thing going on right now.
Would that qualify for Natural Areas Week?
Oh yes, it would. Yeah, so if you want to send me some information on that, we take care. Albany has 36 parks, natural areas, and trails, and so you might want to just have a list of what those are.
Sounds good.
I'll be quiet now.
I actually have some questions about who to contact with information when we have our flyer ready, when we have our, when we know what we're doing a little more specifically. Is it Inga?
Yes, that would be me.
All right. And who was it who was mentioning the farmer's market?
Me. Oh, you can't see me.
I can't, and I don't know who you are anyway.
Pardon?
I don't know you.
Say your name.
Rebecca Landis, Landis.
Okay.
And email is cafm@locallygrown.org.
CAFM?
Yeah, for Corvallis Albany Farmers Markets.
Okay, at locallygrown.org.
Yeah, and we run the outdoor markets in Corvallis and Albany.
Great. All right. And I can contact you for information on that topic?
On doing things at the market?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It would be fun to have something at the Corvallis market and something else at the Albany market.
Mm-hmm. We actually have more space in Albany.
Yeah. I forgot that, yes, if we're talking about summers, the Albany market will be open.
We opened in mid-April, so we're ready by May.
Yeah.
We don't start our children's program till June, so there's a kind of window there for Albany.
We've got some teams, we'll have to talk about it.
That's good.
I'm gonna get back to the theme for a minute. So I don't think we're gonna come to a conclusion today on the theme, but if any suggestions, you can send them to me and then I will forward them to Sarah and Alisa, right? Yes. Yep. And then preservation work. And then we can all vote. Sounds good. And you can make suggested changes and whatnot, but we'll vote and then we'll come up with a theme that everyone likes or can live with. Okay. All right. So we've got a lot of suggestions already. Lots of suggestions. Just jump right in.
I wanted to circle back to the window thing because hi, I'm Autumn. I am friends with Chris Gustafson. He is still around in Albany. He's staying on. So I'm a very hands-on person and I'm getting ready to do windows. So Chris is going to be helping me, and why don't we, I can have people at the farm with signed waivers to do a hands-on workshop or demo. We'll just set up work tables. We'll go through how to strip safely, how to test for lead, kind of the wood preservation, because everyone has old windows.
It's a super cool idea.
I have the space, I have a giant field, I can just pop a tent up if it's raining, and we can just wag them all out. Because if you're driving on Bell Fountain, you can see my windows are out, and I was gonna wait to do them, but I need to do them now. And there's some issues with the house too, where they took out where the old windows are and boarded them up and stuck these terrible windows in. So there's some issues around like, all right, do we, take it back to the way it was? But I know it's not going to pass code because, it's a low window. And if you're on the second story, they, don't like that so much.
It doesn't have to be code, does it? It has to be historic. When that house was built, it wasn't.
But if you're going to use it, for it, it depends what the use is for. But we can do hands-on stuff. So I have space. There should be more parking by next time, and Chris can work with me, and we can do a day.
We actually did. I think this is a great idea. Scott McClure did this at our house. I have pictures of in what is now our bedroom, with a whole bunch of people crammed in there, and I think he was actually showing some windows on the table. And there were some that were still in their original placement where he was, able to show them the parts, but that's not absolutely necessary to have them in place also.
Yeah, well, we can do several. I've done a lot of, actually, I'm a student of Chris's, so, and I know Scott really well. So I'll see if Scott can come. We can set up 3 different kind of conversations about windows. One, how to do, stripping safely, getting the old paint off, testing for lead, and then actual like reconstruction of all the pieces and finishing, and some discussions around.
And that's actually better than doing it in a 10 by 10 tent.
Yeah, and we have it. If the weather's nice, we have a whole field. We can just spread out, set different little stations. But it's probably going to be where I'm going to want a concerted amount of people who are going to be there at a certain time. So like the last tour that I did there last year, it was like people just came randomly, and so I just felt like I couldn't present because it was just, people were coming and like, well, walk around.
Set a time, and you could even set a limit on the number of people.
We've done that for other tours. Well, there is a limit just to parking because it's on Bell Fountain, and I have some parking around, but not.
It would be worth doing, there's pre-signed up software.
Oh, yeah. We live right after Farmer's Daughter on the West End Farm. Yeah, keep on the curb and
You did right 15 minutes last year, I remember. I came in 7 minutes, and then waited 7 minutes into the second one.
Wait,
and I
so
took
it's
turns out you got rid of
We're just past Farmer's Daughter, right in the floodplain on the right. Yeah.
Yes, ours is the sunflower farm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we were actually hoping to do a window repair workshop in Albany. I've been reaching out to some other folks, but if you could maybe do a third option or a fourth session in Albany, I think it would be really great. We have CLG money that we can use.
Yeah, we
pay
have-
people for
we
their
have a
time,
Friend from
travel, whatever they need.
Northern Idaho.
Again, windows are huge.
Yep,
And
yeah.
they're huge in all of our cases.
And we
so
take windows very
people are
seriously,
really
so.
interested in them. And they're complicated,
And it's
so.
fun and it's easy to teach and you don't have to be all burly and just, you know, like it's a good skill. Everyone.
Are you willing to do another training?
Yeah, so we've been I've been reaching out to some people, trying to see if anybody was available for preservation months. We could have a workshop. If you guys are interested, we have CLG money for comp or something.
I'm just more worried about Chris, like if, cause like Chris would be interested and he's from Albany and I would promote him, but I probably need to get paid. Scott is a
CLG
friend.
money.
Yeah,
CLG
so that
money.
would be the only thing, it's especially because I do want him to help me work on my windows and pay him. But I think he would be into it, and if I could offer him, you know, some pay for his time, I'm happy to volunteer. And I'll wrangle Scott just for an extra person.
Yeah, we have money to use.
Okay.
And it would be really nice to get something in Albany for window preservation.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had one, and I know we have a concerted interest in promoting that in our area.
I will ask him if he can do both and see if we can get his time taken care of, and I can help support him and come to the one in Albany as well.
Wonderful, that sounds great.
And I think out of a sense of fairness, it would be best to offer money to all the participants in that, not just Chris.
Yeah. I was just, because it's his profession and his business, like,
Yeah,
you know,
but
volunteering. But maybe he wouldn't, you know, he might just be okay with donating his time. But, you know, young people in business, it's hard on the weekends.
Maria Paula has her hand up.
Yeah, I was just inspired by Autumn and their proposal of hands-on activities. And I actually have two classes in spring that are related to somehow to historical buildings. And one is a grad course in which I teach assessment techniques and so basically how to inspect buildings, how to apply destructive testing techniques to characterize materials. So I'm just thinking out loud, you know, it could be cool to have a demonstration with, you know, students showing how to, you know, what is the state of the art and, you know, new technologies to better understand conditions of buildings and professions, career paths, and, you know, all these things. So, you know, just thinking then I don't know if this is feasible or, you know, we can plan this for the next year, but it could be cool. So I like the idea of involving also SU students in this outreach activities, somehow be part of the community, because somehow we discussed this last time during our meeting. Sometimes it looks like OSU is an isolated entity within the you know, the city and the territory. So it would be cool to involve these students in these activities somehow.
Do they get extra credit and A pluses if they?
For sure, they would be much more engaged than just looking at slides in a classroom.
To speak to that, we could do some more, again, like skills training.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while. We haven't done any training.
I mean, we could do like just going back to kind of, you know, it doesn't have to be windows, but we can do paint stripping with the new kind of laser technology. I've got that material, and then, you know, some of the chemical strippers, which can be a little gnarly, and then do like sandblasting issues around that, and kind of, we could do a hands-on at the giant long barn that I need to do, and we could just go to town on the wall and kind of do different methods on a 130-foot wall that I'm going to fix anyway. So let's just have at it. And I don't know, the youngsters can try out sandblasting. Let's try out paint stripper. Let's try out the little laser heat gun, infrared heat gun for paint stripping. And then kind of the safety issues around that. I mean, again, it's skills training and maybe, you know, that's not the public that's interested in that, but.
Oh, yeah.
There might be.
Some of the public are.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
As part of the public, I approve this message. I do actually want to learn how to do that.
All right, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
I promise I'm listening.
That's fun. What's in the chat? Looks like there's 3 messages.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm missing. I wanted to go back to the airplane hangar, and I wonder if we oh, there's 7 chats in here. If we do that, would that be a okay place to also put the Adair?
So they're not associated with us. They're just people we can reach out to for coordination. So we can see if they'd be interested in doing that. I also believe they're opening a exhibit with the Albany Regional Museum. So there may be some connection there as well with Camp Adair's stuff. So we can definitely reach out and I can circle back based on what I get from them.
It'd be an interesting connection.
Yeah. But yeah, they're.
Would that be okay, Barbara? Would you be interested in that?
Oh, we'll do anything.
Okay.
Actually, the city, the Corvallis airstrip, I can't remember if it was built originally during World War II to bring in generals and, you know, people coming in to help train these guys and whatever, but I'd sure like to find out more. So if anybody has any information about that, you know.
We actually do have a new airport manager now, finally, after a few years not having one. And so there is a potential I can reach out to them and see if they would be available to do a tour and provide additional information. That could work well with Willamette, Grange, and other things in that general area.
And your farm.
Another good idea, brainstorming. We've got some good ones coming out already.
And Landis's house is right there too. I mean, quarter mile from Airport Road.
Right.
So it's called Historic Preservation Month.
Oh, and the independent
Got the
school
whole
is on
month.
Airport Road too. And I've done stuff with them every time. Last year, it attracted a lot of local people, and one of them came with historic photos and letters from, you know, like 1920. So it was very exciting.
Have you ever done a haunted tour?
I know.
I'd love to do that.
That's my specialty, baby.
Oh, very cool. I thought that would be fun.
Was last year the first year of Spectres or second?
Second.
Oh, that's
So
I missed out.
maybe I heard maybe some Albany sites.
So what I'm hearing a couple things. So I'm a storyteller, right? So not only I love the roots and wings things because it ties in the aircraft, the hangars, World War II, the future of flight and all that stuff, right? Roots, OSU, right? Agricultural College, the whole 9 yards. So I just want to support you in that, but I'm also hearing a window, like there's a window to the past and the future that's happening here. And there's also a trail. So we have the Oregon Trail, of course, but this is a trail from the Grange on up to maybe North Albany. So somewhere in there, I think this could be a trail kind of thing.
So there's also the Sanium Wagon Road. I used to work for Lynn County, and one of the members on their Historic Resources Commission is really like a personal project, was the Sanium Wagon Road, which extends from Albany all the way up and over the Sanium Pass. There's a lot there. It's mostly owned by the Forest Service nowadays, and they're doing a lot to work with the local tribes to get interpretive signage worked out.
Perfect.
So I know who's doing historic resources at Lynn County. I could reach out, see if they're interested, and maybe check in with them if we're interested in going with the trails component. I also think that that's something that could be interesting, and it also would tie into Albany because there's a couple cross-listed interest in that group as well.
So then another thing that we haven't talked about is using technology, leveraging technology for this. So Google Maps obviously is one of those things that we could use. And in other projects, we've leveraged Google Maps as a way of guiding people through areas, but also through history, because you can add a lot of information to a Google tag, to your little flag.
So it's Jill again. I wasn't going to say anything, but if you were looking for something that had a kind of a history of a different culture, you know, the canal downtown in Albany was built by Asians. And what had happened was they helped build the railroads across the land. And then when that was done, one of the things that they did was build that little water canal through West Albany. So I don't know if that's something it's interesting, but you might put that in your little bag of tricks too.
I actually just found a reference to Albany's old Chinatown. It was a block, so I'm kind of following that thread right now. It's nothing I can really bring anywhere. I don't have enough, but it's a thread I'm pulling. So maybe in the future that's something we could work on.
Well, when Cody Hall was part of this Benton County HRC, he mentioned the Filipinos building a railroad there south part of the county. They had a camp they called Cebu, which is a city in the Philippines. So right there, south apparently of Bell Fountain.
Okay.
So there were Asians actively creating trails, apparently in more than one spot.
Yeah, kind of like in the trails thing, because there's also the air trails that airplanes leave behind.
Contrails.
Yeah, and then there's the migratory paths from Canada down to Mexico through the west coast here, which is also a series of trails. So we can tie everything in with the
I just recently heard about trails from Canada. I think one of them went through McDonald Dunn Forest, just across the highway from Adair. And I wasn't sure about the resource that I had for these stories, but trackers and so forth we spent quite a lot of time moving back and forth through those trails. So I'm interested in that too.
So there's also a theme of migration here.
I think the trails thing is large enough to where we could do that for the next 5 years. Like, focus on this year on 1 or 2 of the trails. Next year, like have the trails as a theme for a while and then break it down as part of every month, every year that we do this. Like, all right, focus on this trail or that trail. But I love all the ways that trails are part of our lives.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
And the trail into the future. I mean, to me, the thing about historic preservation and the storytelling that we do through specters is acknowledging and recognizing what we've gotten from our ancestors to now. And the technologies it took to get here. And now we're looking at, okay, what are the technologies that are going to take us forward, and where do we preserve? What do we preserve? And then what do we create that's brand new, that's right next door to what we're preserving? So I'm waxing philosophical, I'm sorry.
Donna had some, not to jump too far away, but Donna, you had some things you wanted to talk about?
Yes, seeing that I'm a sub for the person who was supposed to do this, I do know that I am on that committee. I volunteered when I retired from being on the College Hill staff because I had lived right by Harding. My kids all went there, and we taught there for many years with College Hill staff. We really wanted to have the historic group involved. We wanted to make sure it was a date that fit around other things so that we weren't competing with anyone else. We kind of envisioned a twofold. We're going to have a 100-year celebration, but if we also wanted to have a lot of tours that happen around it, and anything you wanted, to I don't know how we get on the calendar. I don't know how we get you involved, but I know that Eric Wright, the principal, just really wanted to make sure we did this right, with the fact that, you know, that College Hill won't be back there yet, but we figured there's going to be enough done that even if we have to do it outside, we wanted to make sure, especially for the College Hill Neighborhood Association, that we were celebrating the 100th year of that building, and the fact that, yes, it's going to be back, and it's going to be a beautiful, hopefully, as from what I've heard from all of the meetings, keeping it historic, but just really make an amazing, instead of an elementary school, an amazing school for College Hill students. And we just want anybody and everybody involved with that, because it's a pretty, you know, every time I go somewhere and someone that I meet went to Harding as a student, and we just thought we really want to make sure we do this right, get the date right, get the right people involved. And so for Gary and the other ones, like I said, I'm just the spokesperson, said, yes, I'm on that committee, but I'm mainly doing it from the College Hill side. But is there a specific person, or how do we make sure you guys help us do this right?
So you can contact with me, Inga,
Okay.
and I will, I keep the calendar, and, well, now I've got 2 other folks to help with that. But yeah, we coordinate the calendars, and you let us know if there's specific days and times that you want. So then we'll just try
to
and
just so that we don't keep, and I know Dan, you're there too. My thinking is between you and Dan and myself and Eric, I just so all voices are represented. Like I said, I'm not on the staff anymore at College Hill, but I know that he was just wanting to make sure we got this going sooner than later. And if we can coordinate that kind of meeting where Eric's involved with that too, and Dan, I hope you can be as well. I think it would go a lot quicker and smoother, just so that all entities make sure whatever it is that they're concerned about, that we have the right people there.
create your own subcommittees and get back to me.
And I'm assuming from Dan, I can get all your contact information and stuff. Because I know how to get a hold of Dan.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're real excited. It's gonna be a fun day. And I know they wanted to do it sometime in May. I just think they want to make sure it doesn't compete with too many things. And that's why they wanted to make sure we ran it through you, the date.
Yeah, well, we keep track of the calendar, so we'll make sure that we're not competing with other items.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, Gary's the main person who's gonna be the contact, but he couldn't be there, but I'm on that committee as well. So I will make sure, I will help reach out to Eric and Dan and you to make sure we get a date set.
Okay, cool.
And Gary will be there too, because he's the one that should be there.
I know we missed last year, I guess, was the Children's Farm Home 100th year anniversary that we missed, and no one reached out to us for that. So yeah, we really appreciate you reaching out to us on this.
Well, we want to do it right because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other big event I think we have to be aware of is Mary Gallagher's retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
So whenever that happens, and then there's a Dare Village Day, and Larry always does the Mother's Day tour. So some things are already sort of into the calendar.
Yes. Although, yeah, I don't know when some of these things, yeah.
We don't know when Mary's is.
Right.
But we should be able to find out.
Well, even if things are on the same day, as long as we don't overlap on time, we're okay.
I think the way I read Jessica's note to us was, would you please think about when to do the thing for Mary? So
be wide open now.
I'd say like prioritizing the things that we want as many people going to as possible, like plug those in the schedule first, and then some of these other things we can, move around to fill it out. But yeah, I mean the OSU tour, Mary Gallagher, what are what's the other main, the school, Harding School, OSU tour. Yeah, those we could plug in, and then the rest of these ideas we can try to move those around.
Yeah, I think if anyone has hard days that they need to do things, then we'll get those on the calendars first, and then we can just kind of massage other stuff around. But it would be good if we had stuff in geographic areas and try and
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
keep them either on the same day.
So the Grange, so yeah, the Grange, the airfield, the Landis's house, and Independence School, like that would be one day.
And maybe the almost winery too. They're in there.
No, they're more
They're
out
below.
by, they'd be out with like Fort Huskett.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be actually, that's a good idea to tack it onto that.
Yeah.
I wonder if Tyee would be interesting too, because, you know, they're a century farm. You know, they're on,
Tried to contact them
they're on
last.
Greenberry Road.
Right.
And you could go, Airport, Landis, Atlantic Grange, Tyee, Independent School.
There's some really old vineyards in there as well. I mean, it might be neat just to have like a historic farm, you know, crops tour, you know, going back to this discovered heritage apples, like try to pick, I don't know, have a day where that's the theme for that day is like going to visit these heritage agricultural places, but Tyee has some great stuff. Yeah, and tie it into Native American.
The stays all, then not just those native drawings on there.
Just let people know there was something before grass seed.
Yeah, I know.
There's also a bunch of heritage farms in Clinton County that do more than just grass too.
A really cool hops barn in North Albany that
I
I've
was
been
bugging you about for years.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I'd
have
love
the
to see
contact
that.
of a hops barn on,
I don't think I do. Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So we could actually break up the tours in two different ways. One would be location based, where those are in the calendar that way. But again, I go back to technology and maps and tools and stuff, because there's going to be people who want to do only farms, or there's going to be people who only want to do the native sites, et cetera, et cetera. So we could approach it. And it's just like Specters, right? We give you different ways of interacting with history based on what you like, whether it's your mobile phone or you like paper or whatever. So we could do that this way too. We're messing around at Conundrum House. We're messing around with newspapers because we love vintage stuff for our murder mysteries and things. So we're now looking at how to design these newspapers. And I have to tell you, in my head is a newspaper series of maps related to this.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we'd have to find someone who would, you know, sponsor the printing. Maybe the Gazette Times or somebody, I don't know who.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
have the whole
exactly.
Historic Preservation Month in a newspaper.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly. And then we could have the trails broken down in there, like from wherever to wherever. I think that would be fun.
I love that. I love a good driving tour. I mean, it's not very eco-friendly, but
electric cars.
Electric cars. You can take your electric car.
Just take your horse.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. The original methane. No.
We could talk about doing or bike tours, but maybe some tours that way where maybe people aren't going to sites per se, but there's a driving route that gets picked out to go see some certain sites. So pick out some good examples, maybe of heritage farms or something. Even if they're not open, you can drive by and kind of see what they've got going on.
There used to be the bike tour map that was Corvallis, Bell Fountain, and then out hanging
We had an
everywhere.
actual bike tour several years ago. Yeah, we did. It was bike and beer was our thing.
Drink and drive.
Yeah, that was it. So, no, it wasn't driving. No, it wasn't.
Pedaling,
So maybe thinking about something like that where, you know, people don't necessarily have the time to do a huge tour, but they can do a driving tour kind of around a geographic area.
Yeah, there's what, four tours, driving tours of Benton County already that you can get at the Chamber of Commerce, the maps. So.
Well, that's less work. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there are those triple fold pamphlets.
It needs to be updated. I heard. Yeah, we want it to be updated. I think a lot of our tours need, well, definitely the true tour needs to be updated. Flintstone Lane, you're still on there?
I am.
What was the architectural tour that you wanted to do? are you thinking about?
This is one, it's actually in my neighborhood. It's the brochure that has the Becker House on the cover. It's just shows Job's Addition is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Corvallis, and it shows a real nice range of architectural styles. It's fun.
I'm the holder of all of those files of the historic walking tours, and I know that many of them need to be looked at again. And they, they all have Ross Parkerson's art on them and are very sweet, but they probably need to be preserved in a more conspicuous place electronically. And then also we just kind of print them every once in a while when someone decides to come in and ask for them. So, so it's on my list.
Stand out. But Lynn, Jim?
Oh, actually, yeah, he does have a handout.
Nope. Lynn, did you need something to finish out?
No, I just said that the walking tours are real popular.
Oh, yeah, they are. Jim, go ahead.
Is that your cursor? I think it might be a cursor because it was when Roz was over there. It was on hers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, yeah, just
Yeah, that's true. That's more yellow.
Want to do something for to recognize Courtney Floyd. This year, as he passed away, he always did a very nice tour for us.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about awards.
Well, and his wife passed away too, so I'm not sure who he gives the award to.
Oh,
But
well.
some kind of memorial or something.
Recognition.
Yeah.
Which tour did Courtney conduct? Which tour did?
North Central Park. I can never. I think it was north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that does south, right? I guess I was confused
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
Another thing I have on my list is that we have budgeted for a new historic preservation month banner for Harrison Boulevard because the one that we have is really like, 80s old probably.
It's
So
historic.
It's historic itself, that's right. I'm preserving it, but I'd like to replace it. So maybe I'll work with Inga and maybe send some things to the different commissions on design, see if we can get that spiffed up a little bit.
Is there any chance of getting a footwise window? Because last year we tried and it had been taken like 6 months before.
They book a year out.
Oh,
It's probably already booked.
yeah.
We can ask. And it's the same with the book bin.
Oh,
that corner is beautiful. It's a young man from OSU that does the art, does the windows. And he's very talented. They are very, very talented. But we can talk to both. See, maybe the exhibitors drop out for some reason. You never know.
Well, what about Mini Hands
That's going to be a big game store.
Oh,
is it really?
Guardian Games.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, do they want to get off with a bang by advertising Historic Preservation Month?
They might. I mean, the guy, he's a pilot. He's a professional stunt pilot who owns Guardian Games, and I could see getting his involvement because of the airports.
I have to work on them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna have those casement windows anymore.
They've just
throwing that out there.
They've just done asbestos remediation in the building, so they've just finished that. The second floor is professional office spaces, and there's going to be a rooftop sort of dining area for just the people on the second floor, not the public.
Wow.
Yeah, but Guardian Games has like thousands of titles. But the good thing for us is that we don't rely on board games. for what we do, because we do specters and we did the Hater Art Caper, and really ours is storytelling, mysteries, and gaming. So, but it's going to affect the other two homegrowns across the street from them. That's a whole other story. Makes me very sad.
No.
But I love playing games.
What is the bittersweet? Yes.
So are you guys familiar with the Specters game?
No.
So we've done it 2 years in a row now.
2 years, yeah.
And
We're hoping for a third. We're already planning.
and it's online and in person. You can go around to do things on the ground, or you can do it online. It's puzzles and games, and you have to. And we highlight 5.
Yeah, so it's five
sites?
properties a year. Each property is the story of the property, the location, and the people associated with are told through the voices of folks from the past. So there are specters. And they don't speak English, Spanish, Russian, or any other language. They speak in puzzles. And the puzzles are starting to tell the underlying stories. So the first year it was women's rights in Oregon. Second year it was Black Oregon pioneers. And this year we really are focusing on Native stories. Yeah, and you have to figure out, the puzzle is the first one to figure out what the second location is. So everything is just a game. It's just a huge game. And we do reveal at the end of the week.
Lots of.
There's 4 episodes every year.
So if you guys have a few areas in Albany that you want to highlight.
So our downtown association, our Main Street program, has QR codes in certain business windows associated with women in Albany, so pioneers. There might be a tie-in there. It's not something that I personally work on, but I could potentially talk to our downtown association, and that might be something we could get on.
It's a great concept.
It's been really good.
Yeah.
And we talked about it at Main Street, the Main Street program, I don't know, a few months ago when I went, and it really got traction because the storytelling and the gamification of history is key to engaging younger generations and the future based on what we've learned from the past. So we're finding all kinds of applications. It's up all year round, so you're always learning. It's worldwide. We have families all over the world playing it every year together. So they're learning about this area. And they can pipe in with information that they have about ancestors, who've come over and things like that. So it's got a lot of potential to grow a lot more than it has. But it was started during COVID times because nobody was going out and doing stuff. People were not engaging with historic preservation, and Inga found us online, I think. Yeah. And then she asked us if we could do something, and we're like, hell yeah.
And now we've got her on our committee.
Yes, and then I was recruited for New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Smart.
Barbara said we're losing her.
Well, sounds like we're winding up a little, maybe.
So what are we walking away with? What are we supposed to do now?
I'm gonna type up the list of all of the ideas that were thrown out here and start putting things on a calendar. Y'all can start sending me your ideas for the theme, unless we're gonna go with the theme we got, or versions of it.
I think
but
we were
just tell me-
going with trails.
Well,
Don't look at me. I mean, I love the theme because it ties
I like
everything
roots and
together.
wings.
Roots and Wings is great because of the tie between the ground and.
we'll
Let's
go.
play with things.
Yeah.
I thought that was the theme too. So
What was that? You like that?
I thought trails was the theme too.
Trails.
It was trails, and then there was also like the location day. So just like each location was a different trail. I thought that's what we were going with.
It was a suggestion and we can vote on it.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. We're gonna have a hard time packing all this in, just saying.
So,
yeah, that'd be great.
So let me, one other logistical question, Inga, before you go on, how do we do, is there gonna be a spreadsheet of everybody or a Google sheet?
Yeah, I was
of
just
everybody's
gonna-
contact information?
I think the only, well, there's a few people on there that, let me put my email address in the chat. And if you would please email me so I have your emails.
I saw everybody's email in one of the chains.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, some people actually showed up that were not, but I'm sure I can get everyone's. Anyway, we'll get it. We'll get, yes, we'll have a list of people who have attended and then.
With College Hill being 100 in 1923, also many of these other structures are turning 100. So I always had this idea where we could, through video, kind of incorporate the OSU bots, kind of having a bot like approach the President Ballard's home in the College Hill and having the lid open, like, your house is 100. Oh my gosh. That's so cool, and I'm still working on it. So.
Can I record the voice if you're going to do that? That's so cute.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Could do a little pop-up.
Yeah, there's something there.
They got programmers that can do wonders.
They can call, they can be called to that location. So
that is cool. I love the box.
It'd be fun to have that curated every year, like, okay, who's 100 this year? And then have the list.
That could be a bike
be
tour.
a visual thing.
That could be a bike tour through every single district, like 100, 100, 100, 100.
Yeah, who's
This kind of
100 this year?
Century Farm.
Here we go.
Our database updated for that.
Oh, yeah.
Inga, should we talk, let's maybe put some sort of boundary boards on like throwing out new ideas and for either a theme or for other activities of a certain date. From my perspective as their staff, I'm trying to cancel our February meeting just because we don't have anything, and I've got that, they did training last month and they're doing training, Planning Commission and HRC training on the 1st, and so I was going to give them a break. But if we need to get all of those things solidified and we need to meet and just discuss this one topic, that's fine. So if we need to meet in February, that's fine, but I want to hear from you.
I was just thinking of individual voting, so send out an email.
Oh, no.
Individually vote.
Okay.
Vote for the theme.
But don't we need a minute for the theme for a couple different themes to be?
Yeah.
So like a week.
Suggested, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Your themes in.
let people soak on some themes for a minute.
Yeah. Email me or you. All right.
100 years ago in Benton County. Okay, that was
Brilliant.
Send it in. Send it in.
Oh, yeah. So everybody can just vote.
And then there's Lynn County.
Yeah, we've expanded.
Yeah.
Benton and Lynn.
Right.
Years ago,
That's
or
what-
100 years ago in the
Yeah.
Central Lynn Valley.
In the
As soon as I can get the
Central
minutes.
Middle Valley.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we'll have, well, the theme isn't really that important until we get to when we start putting together our marketing and the advertising and the brochures.
I feel like we should try to be ready for a next meeting to go over basic scheduling and activities by the middle of March.
Yes.
So then
Now-
settle on a theme and have all of the ideas in by March 1st.
I
Does
think
that
that's
sound-
kind of what we tried to do last year.
Okay.
Have we talked to the museum about awards presentation? It went really
No,
well.
we haven't even talked about the awards.
If we could get that scheduled to them, that would be great, because it was a really nice venue last year.
Do you talk about doing it at Harding School?
We talked about doing it.
Okay.
Probably before you
And the white side was also posited.
Yeah, the white side.
Harding would be good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to do your own awards or join
Probably
with
do our
us.
own awards.
Okay.
Yeah. I suspect that that's the direction we'll go.
So that's why we have it.
Okay.
Yeah, Harding would be.
Yeah, since it is 100, I think that'd be. I like that idea.
Yeah.
When are renovations complete there? Are they still going on with the building? Does anybody know? College Hill, high school? No, they've done a lot there. So it'll be a renovated, restored building. Wow.
This is what you could do with enough resources. Of course, we haven't seen what they've done.
Yeah, yeah.
It might,
Exactly.
might not be a
Might be
positive vibe.
Exactly. Twice. Went through all the commissions.
Okay, any last thoughts? Jesse, you've been quiet.
Oh, thanks. No, I got some ideas. I think I kind of wanted to hear what was all on the docket before I started throwing out things that I wouldn't be able to pull off. So,
well, we might set up another meeting, and then, but we'll make it remote, so you know that'll be a lot easier for people to attend. We won't have to all gather up again. This was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. But
We could have it, you know, for once have it both ways.
yeah.
I mean, it's
wanna
hard
come
to
again?
do,
Can we do it again?
It's really nice to be with people.
Yes.
Yeah, the ideas flow a lot.
Right. It's so halting when you're, trying to do the Zoom thing. You can't.
Yeah, but
cue off of other people.
But I think, we've got the ideas now. Now it's just getting into the sludge of it. So I'm sorry, I've got trash on the brain.
Your day job is showing.
Literal. Oh dear. Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you. It was great.
So nice.
So excited to
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
I'm not a good drop in. I'll be over there.
You can take some food with you.
So Sarah, the first is training then, that's what that
The
is?
first
Okay.
is it.
I would-
Yeah, February 1st is training. I'll send out an email.
Yeah.
I've got it. Hi, Dan.
Good to see you. It's been a while. I've been through a lot. You reminded me this year. When I was going to do I got the walking tour of the sidewalk at Marcus.
Yeah.
And then the college neighborhood is really there are things that aren't there. For sure, and then there are a lot of interesting ones that are there. So I committed myself in my head to redo that. But especially it's nice. So I haven't gotten to it. But the college living isn't very accurate. I don't know what happened. I would have expected that Ross would have done that.
I would have expected that too.
It wasn't really his quality of work.
Interesting. Okay. So the beginning of those wordings need, of course.
Anyway,
Okay.
they just,
That's a good heads up.
that's my opinion, and you can do what you want to. I don't know how popular those are. I got frustrated.
All right. Thank you for that.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Great opportunity.